Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Lens of Truth with me, Ivan Florentino, and for today's video, these are my top 5 horror / terrifying Halloween type of games that I recommend that you play on the Nintendo Switch. And we have a variety, so let's go ahead and start off with something a bit more family friendly, and then it's going to go all the way up to something a bit more gory and creepy. So yeah, if you're brand new to the channel, I am Ivan Florentino and this is The Lens of Truth. Consider ringing the bell, hitting the like button, leaving a comment, and let's get to it. So starting with the family friendly game, number 5 goes to Luigi's Mansion 3. So for number 5, Luigi's Mansion 3 is one of the best looking Nintendo Switch games there is right now. The animations are really good, the graphics are insane, the gameplay is just a combination of the first 2 games, and yeah, this is obviously more of a spooky kind of family friendly game, but we're gonna start off light. But this one, if you're into any type of Nintendo game, any type of kind of spooky horror and just over the top silly fun adventure game, this one is a must play. Go ahead and check it out.
This hotel is more than meets the eye. His friends have been captured. His old nemesis haunts him, and his only option is to run scared, unless he's braver than he thinks. Luigi's Mansion 3.
Now for an indie game, this is from the makers of Limbo, another great game. So this one is more of a spooky, tense, and very mysterious game as you're playing through it, and this is a must play game. It's a very short game. If I remember, you can beat this game in about, I want to say under 3 hours, maybe 2 hours if I remember. And it's also could be, I think, closer towards 4 if you go ahead and kind of search the areas around for secrets and things like that. But I do remember this is one of those games that you have to play to just get into, because it is a very mysterious game. When you first get dropped into the game, I do remember you have no clue as to what's going on, but the game slowly reveals itself, and it's just a very mysterious game. You know, for the most part, the music is very tense. There's a lack of music, but it's just one of those games you have to play in order to understand how special it is. It's the minimalism. The graphics are very simple, yet conveys a very dark, creepy tone to it, and a must play game. And there's always sales on this on the eShop if you haven't already checked it out. So this is the number 4 game. Okay, now moving on to the number 3 spot is Resident Evil 1 Remake, and this one is another great example of an old school game from the GameCube era that was a remake of the PS1 classic. And when I tell you, this is a must play game for anyone who's never played Resident Evil, and this game still holds up because this is a remastered version that they made for, I think it was the PS3, PS4 era, and now it's ported onto the Switch. The background graphics are very static, but they look really good because they are pre-rendered. There's also brand new controls compared to the tank controls that you were used to if you have already played it, but you can also play it in both ways, using the tank controls, which are very old school and clunky, but also the brand new ways of controlling it. And the game looks great till this day. The lighting has been improved, the textures, and it's just one of those games that you have to play if you've never tried to play the original. It's a classic. It's on the Nintendo Switch. There's always sales on it, so go ahead and check it out on the eShop. It's a really great game to play. So yeah, for our number 4 spot, this is Resident Evil 1 Remake, and if you haven't already played it, it is a must play game. Go ahead and check it out. All right, now going into our number 2 spot, I'm going to go ahead and cheat a little bit because I am going to go ahead and put part 1 and 2 of the franchise Little Nightmares. And when I tell you this is one of my favorite smaller creepy horror game series that you have to play, because this is just one of those games where you play as this one little girl, and also in the sequel you do play as a different protagonist, and also the way that this game reveals itself, the kind of gruesome enemies that you encounter, the puzzles that you solve, it is so good. And it's just one of those games that you don't see too much of. And this is a type of a horror game where it blends in some gore, some terrifying monsters, some very weird, some grotesque looking environments, some impressive looking environments, even on the Nintendo Switch. It's just the world just feels huge compared to your tiny character that you play as. And if you're looking at the trailer that you see behind me, it's just one of those games that you have to play just to kind of know how it just gets under your skin. You want to know everything. The lore behind it is just impressive, and you just want to know everything that's going on. This game is fun, but yet it's terrifying. It's very tense. It just kind of leaves you with you kind of trying to figure out everything that it wants to reveal to you. You have so many questions as you're playing it, but that's what keeps you going. And those games are not too long. They're actually under 5 hours to complete each one, but so good. Yeah, Little Nightmares 1 was a surprise hit when I first played it and first heard about it. And then when Little Nightmares 2 was announced for the Switch, actually I think it was not that long ago, I was so happy because I wasn't expecting a sequel so soon. But when you play the sequel and the first one kind of back to back, you'll see how everything is connected. It's just such a good game filled with puzzles. You guys have to check out the series. It's a highly recommended game. You must play it, and yeah, check it out on the eShop. There's always sales on this game. Okay, for our last game on this top 5 list is number 1, Alien Isolation for the Nintendo Switch. Okay, so I skipped this game when it first came out. I remember going to a friend's house and they were playing it, and I actually got to play it for around an hour, and I was so impressed. But I actually completed this game last year and actually started playing it again with all the DLC included. And when I tell you, and you can go ahead and check out Digital Foundry's video on this, the graphics are actually a lot better in the PS4 version. They optimized this game, and I'm telling you, the graphics are amazing. The way that the alien, the xenomorph, chases you throughout the entire game. Yes, some areas and parts can be frustrating, but there are several difficulty levels. You just want to kind of get through the story, and some of it is pretty long, but I'm telling you, the game is so good. The lighting is impressive. The sound effects can give you the sound effects just get up, they crawl up of your skin, because when you hear the xenomorph crawling next to you, beside you, you kind of have to be careful when you have your scanner with you. The way that you do feel like you're claustrophobic, you're very isolated. And the way that the story unravels with your main protagonist, the assets look like they're from the film. It's just a great game to play, and this is one of those games that you can play with a partner. And I remember playing this with my girlfriend, and we had such a blast playing this together. And it's another game that you go ahead and check it out on the eShop. There's always sales on this game. A must play classic game.
I'm sure I'll see you very soon. I love you, sweetheart.